Today we're going to talk about how to invite customers for the new cohort, as well as how to verify eligibility for DHS. I'm going to start with inviting a customer as a CBO, and then we'll finish up with how to invite as a DHS person, as well as verify the eligibility. We're going to start by clicking on the Invite tab under the Customers. This is where you land when you log in, so you just have to click Invite. When we add a SNAP customer, you just have to click on the blue box over here. It will open up into a new window, and then if you're sitting with the customer at the time, if you're in a CBO, you're going to obviously recommend your program, but you can also look at the different available programs by clicking on the item at the top of that page. You can select your region. I'm going to just pick Chicago because they have the most options. It puts the number behind the program of how many different programs there are. If you click business and hospitality and human services or health science, let's do health science and hospitality and tourism, then down below you get the list of the programs. It tells you who's offering the program and then what the program actually is. You can click on the item and get the information. You can print it for the customer and give it to them. Once you have reviewed the different programs with the customer, you can go ahead and complete the invitation information. So remember, I'm inviting this customer as a community-based organization, and I'm going to use the Train Engine series because that's a different set of names. So we have Thomas Engine. I'm entering his social security number, confirming the social security number, adding a date of birth. Now the customers have to be at least 18 years of age, so I'm going to just pick today because they'll be 18. And just to keep my records comfortable for confirmation, I am going to use the social security number that I entered as the address and the phone number. And you have to enter a zip code, and here comes the phone number. You need to select a CBO office. I'm going to just pick Mid-South because it's at the top of the list. And select a CBO office. So I'm inviting as a safe haven, so I'm going to select that. The CBO contact is your primary contact, and so I'm going to pick Tammy Tester. And you as a CBO only have one eligibility opportunity to select. It's Request SNAP Eligibility Verification. Once you've done that, all of the information is in there. You hit Save and invite customer to orientation. A new screen will pop up that shows you the information that you just entered. If it doesn't look right, you can cancel, go back and make any changes. One of the things that DHS will need to have is a correct social security number. So it's always best to copy it directly from the customer's social security card if they do happen to have it with them. One of the other things that you will be doing as a CBO is selecting an intake orientation date. We have suggested that if you have regular re-engagement customers coming and want to separate them from a new cohort intake orientation, that you label the invitations as such. So with this one, because they are being referred by you, you may have already taken them through a major part of your intake orientation. So you might want to invite them just for the new cohort intake session, because it might just be to complete the application if they are approved. So I'm going to invite the customer. Once I click the invite, it adds the information to these bottom two rows on this part of the form. Then you submit eligibility verification. It has given you the customer's username and password, and as you can see right here, it's first initial, last name, and then last name and 6-digit date of birth. Once the invitation has been added, you can see customer orientation date has been set for IDHS approval. And then you can close out of this customer, or you can add another customer. I'm logged in now as a DHS caseworker, and I'm going to add a customer. I'm going to add a SNAP customer. I'm going to add Henry Engine with a social security number. Date of birth still has to be 18 years old. If they're 18 tomorrow, they got to come back tomorrow. And address, city, zip, phone, select a primary DHS office, select the primary contact. Are they mandatory or voluntary? Select the CBO office that you're going to send them to. Select the primary contact. And are they eligible or not? If the customer is not eligible, don't invite them to Epic. Use one of these two options. The other reasons are for when you are verifying eligibility from a reverse referral from a CBO. I'm verifying this customer as eligible and not receiving TANF. I save and invite the customer to orientation. As you can see, the information is here that you entered. You don't see an orientation name or date, so pick new cohort if you are sending the customer to the to the orientation. It will add the information in up here. Then you just have to submit verification and send invite. It gives you the record was successfully invited. Then you can print the 2151 referral form. It will automatically add this document to the customer's profile so that it is there for historical purposes. And the username and password is right here, although you don't have to use that for the customer, it's for the CBO. Now we're going to go to the dashboard, and we're going to go to the enrolled dashboard. On the enrolled dashboard, you have several lines for which you need to keep track, and they're all up here in this top customer eligibility verification section. We've got accept eligibility verification, we have not accepted within 2 days, we have complete eligibility verification, not completed within 11 days, verified, appointment not scheduled, and not scheduled within 11 days. If you do this in a sufficient amount of time, you probably won't ever end up with anybody in the appointment not scheduled within 11 days. But on occasion, you can't reach the customer. You'll have to do a conciliation with them. So the information is here for you to track. And you will hear from us on the admin side about numbers that are not being tracked properly on here. So the first thing that you need to do is check this first box here. On here we have one customer that was just submitted, which is the one that we just invited from the CBO. And then we've got 3 customers here who are not accepted within 2 days. The process is you want to accept the verification that you're going to verify this customer and then save the information. If you cannot verify eligibility by making a phone call and you are in a mandatory area, you are required to complete a family assessment, the 4001 form. And if you can, you are allowed to complete it over the phone. And we have instructed all of the reverse referral customers to answer their phone if they receive a call from DHS. So I'm going to click on one of these items that is past due. And I'm going to look in here at my list, and I have a number of customers. It tells me who created the invitation. So this one from the CBO is a reverse referral. And then we have 2 that were created by DHS. So you can see here what's going on. We have a number of customers in here. We can view their profile from here. So you can click view. You can see the information, and you will be required to verify social security number. So I'm going to go back to the list. I'm going to just back up here to one of my other screens, and I'm going to go to this list here where my customer is. So I've got Thomas Engine, who was submitted by a CBO, and it says verification request sent. I'm going to view that application. Right here at the top it just says IDHS accepts the eligibility request. Very simple. You just check the box, verify the social security number, so we know what that one was because we created it, and we scroll down and we can save the customer. Oh, we need to put in a DHS contact. Sorry, that was submitted by the CBO, so it might not have that. So since we don't know what the rest of the details are, we're going to save this customer. Customer was updated successfully, it says right here. Let's go back to the dashboard. And we're going to look at now, and I need to refresh my screen because my number should go from 1 to 0, which it just did. And now my customer is now in this row that says IDHS Complete Eligibility Verification. So now it's been a couple of days and I was able to reach the customer. So I now know that the information for Thomas the Engine is there. So I can go back in, and you notice the accept verification eligibility is gone. So I'm going to go back in. I have to re-enter the social. All of the other information is still here. The customer is mandatory, and I am going to now verify the customer as SNAP or verify them as ineligible. Whatever the reason is, you can also be not EPIC eligible, which means they moved out of the EPIC counties. So we're going to verify this customer as SNAP eligible and not receiving TANF. And then the process is the same as when DHS does the initiation of the invitation. So you save and invite the customer. The customer was invited for August 14th. And so all we have to do is submit verification and send invite. And I can print the 2151 referral form, and it's there. So now let's talk a little bit about the reasons of not having the other reasons that are there and what you would have to do if a customer is not eligible. So I'm going back to the dashboard, and I'm going to go to one of these customers who has not been scheduled within 11 days. So I'm going to pick Rocco Wolf. And Rocco's address, I'm going to confirm his social security, so it is 671-681-682. And Rocco, we have to do the primary contact for DHS. Rocco is going to be determined not EPIC eligible. The other opportunity here that you may have is not able to verify eligibility. Perhaps the social security number is incorrect in the system. You would mark that. You would not have to enter the social security number, and then you could invite the customer with the correct social security number. If you don't know who the customer was meant to be, contact the CBO and they can reinvite the customer. Let them know that the social security number was wrong. They're verified ineligible, they are receiving TANF, or they're not EPIC eligible, or you already submitted them as a traditional SNAP E&T customer and you want them to remain in that place. So those are all reasons that will require you to add an eligibility reason. So what I'm going to type in here is this customer moved to a non-EPIC county and is not EPIC eligible. So please give us enough of a reason so that the CBO will know what is going on with that customer and they can determine or change the information if they need to. So then we're going to save this customer because they are not EPIC eligible and we're not going to invite them to the orientation. So if you guys can just keep up with your dashboard and make sure that these customers are moving through the process appropriately, we have asked the CBOs to schedule people out for 12 business days, which means if there's a holiday or weekends, those days don't count. But mail does move on those days. So if you do need to call the customer in for an appointment to verify eligibility, you do have time. If the customer appointment date is past the originally scheduled appointment date, you may have a challenge verifying that customer and inviting them to an orientation. If at that point you need some assistance, please feel free to contact me at the email address or send an email to Deidre Wesley and her team or to epic@illinoisworknet.com. Thanks for watching today. I hope we have cleared everything up for you and you are able to make this new cohort the best cohort. Have a great rest of your day.